We are ready. Where's my moderator? Is my moderator ready?
Thank you for participating today. We are now joined by Marcus Garrett and we'll begin the press conference. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Our first question is from Bay Gregorian from the Kansas City Star.
Hey Marcus, Vahe Gregorian from the Kansas City Star. Could you just describe when you guys felt the game was turning your way and what this atmosphere was like as an NCAA tournament game?
It was a great atmosphere out there. I felt like the game kind of turned. I'd probably say when the clock was messing up. When the clock was messing up and the game would just pause for a second, I feel like we locked in there, and that's when the game kind of turned around.
Our next question is from Billy Witz from the New York Times.
Yeah, Marcus, hi. Can you describe what it was like, I guess, to see David arrive yesterday and be able to practice, and kind of what his presence, not just his presence, but the way he played, what that meant? You guys be able to win today.
His presence means a lot to us. I think he's been our leading scorer down the stretch in conference, and he's really picked it up offensively. So, getting our big man back was definitely huge for us. And yesterday we was definitely trying to get his reps back and get his legs back under him.
Were you confident that he'd be able to do that? For being out for a week or so?
Yeah. He's kind of, when you think about it, he's played basketball his whole life. So, I think him taking 10 days off wouldn't take away what he does on the basketball court. It'd just be more fatigue, I would say.
Okay, thank you.
Our next question is from Scott Chasen from Kansas247sports.com.
Hey, Marcus, how's it going?
Great, how you doing?
I'm good. Hey, wanted to ask you about DeJuan, the spark he gave you guys today. Can you speak to his performance and just how he wasn't phased coming in and playing on the NCAA tournament stage?
He played great. He came out there, he did what DeJuan does, and he took the shots that was open and he knocked them down. I feel like he played a great game. He gave us the boost we needed, and he was plus 22, which is great. So, I feel like he played great.
Not a guy who takes a lot of threes, but he's made quite a few of them. What do you think about his confidence just shooting the ball?
I feel like he has confidence in shooting the ball. He just doesn't take them all the time because that's kind of not what he does for our team. But I feel like whenever he does take them, he has a chance to knock them down.
Reminder to the media, please check your settings to be sure you are identified by name and affiliation. You will only be called on if you are properly identified. Our next question is from Matt Tate from the Lawrence Journal-World.
Hey, Marcus, they left it a little bit today. It seemed like you were comfortable taking that outside shot, especially the third one here from the corner. You kind of bounced on your way back. How big was your shot today for what you guys needed?
The atmosphere had me kind of like feeling good. I feel like I was open there. I had to take those shots, and I was just able to knock them down.
I also wonder, when Dave was out there, we did see him, on that end, went at the free throw line. He kind of celebrated like we've seen him do all year. What was he like out there? Did he save his energy, or did he bring it? Or how was he?
Yeah, he definitely brought his energy. From the time he arrived yesterday, we felt his energy, we felt his presence. He was just happy to be with us, and he was happy to be back on the court.
How tough a matchup were those guys?
Definitely a tough matchup. That's a great team. The way they moved the ball, the way they shot the ball, and I feel like the way they spread the floor was great, and it was a hard matchup.
Our next question is from Adam Rittenberg from ESPN.
Yeah, Marcus, another one about David. I know that they were saying he might not even play a ton today, but for him to actually exceed his minutes average of the season in a game where the other team, big man, is kind of going off, how significant was that just as a teammate to watch him?
That was definitely incredible. Knowing that he hadn't practiced or did anything in the last 10, 11 days, and for him to come out and just be so productive on the offensive end, that was definitely something great to see.
Next question is from John Title from hoopshd.com.
Hey Marcus, John Titel from hoopsHD.com. I wanted to ask about your three-point shooting. I believe you only made 2 threes during the entire month of February, but you've now made 7 in your last 3 games in March. So is it something that they need you to make them more, or has your confidence built more, or what's up with your three-point shooting?
It's March. I know it's winter time. I know I have to knock down shots. So I'm stepping up and having confidence and shooting the ball more.
Our next question is from Sam Mellinger from the Kansas City Star.
Hey, Marcus. Even when you guys were down in the first half and into the second half, there didn't seem to be any panic in you guys. I'm just wondering, what was it? Is it something internal, your belief in yourself? Was it something you saw in the strategy of the game? What made you guys appear to be at least confident throughout?
Coach Self, he's telling us every time it's a long game, just stay with it. Keep chipping away at the lead, and we'll get it where we want it.
Thank you.
Our next question is from John Zener from the Associated Press.
Yeah, hey Marcus, could you talk about, I know it's hard to look ahead this quick, but have you seen USC, right? And got any kind of preference on matchups?
No, I kind of don't have a preference. I watched film on both teams already, and whichever team wins, I feel like Coach Self will have us ready for them.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Matt Tate from the Lawrence Journal-World.
Marcus, at halftime, what was the focus? What were you guys thinking? You had the rough start, obviously, but then you were down 8 after you kind of calmed down, too. What was your mindset coming out at the second half?
Stay calm, chip away at the lead. It's a long game. We know what type of team we are. We know if we lock in and defend that we could cut the lead and come back and get exactly what we want. And I feel like when we locked in defensively, we was able to do that.
Did you see everyone stay calm? Because we talked earlier in the week about, this is a new experience for a lot of your teammates. You've been through it, obviously, but did you see everyone stay calm, or did you have to help calm them down?
Yeah, I feel like we all was calm at halftime. We all knew exactly what we had to do to go out there and win that game, and I feel like that's what we went out there and did.
Our next question is from Maya Peterson from the Daily Kansan.
Hi, Marcus. This is Maya Peterson from the Daily Kansan. Wanted to talk to you about the toughness of this team from start to finish of this game. What does this say about the toughness of the team this year?
I definitely feel like we're a tough team. We've been through a lot of adversity this year, so I feel like every time adversity hits us, I feel like we're able to bounce back, and that's something that we showed today. With that rough first half, we was able to bounce back in the second half and come out with a win.
Next question from Gus Balo from the University Daily Kansan.
Hey, Marcus. I just wanted to talk about, this is Gus Balo from the University Daily Kansan. I just wanted to ask about your shot today. It seemed like you could find your way to, get some shots to fall, and it was ultimately big down the stretch. Can you just talk about your shot and, especially from outside the arc?
It's all the coaches kind of tell me every day just to take the shots. If they leave me open, shoot the ball every time I'm open. And that's kind of what I tried to do today, was just be aggressive from beyond the arc.
Right, you talked about it earlier, but can you talk about the performance of the Groves brothers of Eastern Washington?
Oh, they was great. They was great. They were definitely a hard guard with the way they were stretching the floor, the way they could drive, the way they was posting. It was definitely a hard matchup for us.
And our last question will be from Matt Tate from the Lawrence Journal-World.
Marcus, I wanted to ask you about playing with 3 fouls. You got that third one late. Were you worried at all? Anybody give you any advice? How'd you manage that?
No, I wasn't worried. I kind of know how to play without fouling and without gambling, without reaching, just putting myself in good situations where I don't have to foul. So I kind of wasn't worried at all.
Did it affect how you were able to guard or do what you do? It didn't look like it, but
not much. But I kind of feel like it took me off the ball. I couldn't just be aggressive with the ball handler, bring the ball up the court. But overall, it didn't mess with me.
DeJuan say anything? Like he'd take care of it?
Yeah, he told me he got it.
Thanks, Mark.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marcus, for your time, and best of luck in the next round.
Thank you.
We'll be joined momentarily by Coach Bill Self. Please use this time to raise or lower your hand as necessary.
Might as well raise it.
I got a reprieve till 3:20. I guess we're not muted.
And the monitor's not working, so you're just looking to the camera. So there's no. But the moderator will announce.
Can they see me?
Yes, sir. And the moderator will announce who the person is.
We will begin with an opening statement from Coach Bill Self and then go to questions. Use the raise hand function to indicate you would like to ask a question. When you are called on for your question, please state your name and affiliation first. Coach Self, please give us a brief opening statement, and then we'll go on to questions.
Well, obviously, we're just thrilled that we won. You know, Eastern Washington, they outplayed us, you know, for the most part, the first 30 minutes of the game. We had our little runs, but they had more, and certainly the Groves brothers were the two best players in the game in the first half, and we didn't guard them. They had us all messed up with ball screen defense. We didn't look very good at all, but somehow or another we kind of hung in there, and then we kind of turned it on the second half. David really played well considering coming off his isolation with COVID, and Marcus made shots. Juan was probably the best player we had from start to finish, and Ochai and Christian also made some plays. But it was a hard game. It was a great game to win in the tournament. It's great to advance, but you know, we got outplayed for the majority of the game today. They were better than us, and somehow or another we just kind of hung in there and made some plays at the right time.
Now we'll go questions from the media. Use the raise hand function to indicate you want to ask a question. Our first question will be from Vay Gregorian from the Kansas City Star.
Hey, Bill, it's Vahe. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Can you just elaborate a little bit on how fitting it is that, or odd it is, I guess, that David did what he did today, coming back from everything? And then I'll have one other follow-up, please.
Yeah, I don't know that it's. I guess it's fitting. I don't know. You know, we were playing pretty well as a team there at the end of the season, and David was playing his best ball, and I really thought, and our doctors thought that you know, we could get between 15 and 20 minutes out of him today. And I certainly, after the way he started the game, I didn't think that he was going to give us much offensively, except, you know, or defensively, just give us 5 fouls. But he kind of got his legs under him, and he was really, really good the second half. I mean, really good. He, you know, didn't get out to the shooters, didn't get out to Groves a couple of times, but he played great, and so it was good to see. You know, maybe gives me some hope now with Jalen coming back. You know, maybe he can provide some key minutes for us on Monday, because we'll need everybody. But it was good to see. It was pretty impressive how he played and his conditioning, considering all the stuff he's come off of.
And the other thing, Bill, is just you've coached a lot of NCAA tournament games by now. Can you describe the feeling of being in this for an NCAA game? Obviously, you had it all season, but it's a different kind of stage now to have it be this kind of atmosphere, what this arena felt like.
Well, you know, I'm looking at the stats here, and I got to put my glasses on to see. It says attendance was 961. I mean, so 900 people coming to an NCAA tournament game, and granted, I don't think the atmosphere played a role in who won or who didn't win. It just felt different. It was the coldest arena I think I've ever been in starting the game. I didn't feel it that way at the end. I thought it warmed up some, but I mean, it was literally 60, 58 degrees when the game started, it felt like. And you know, we've been a team that's been a really hot starting team or a really cold starting team, and you know, you get down 9-0, and now the collar gets a little tighter, all these things, and fortunately for us, we were in real trouble if it wasn't for DeJuan. DeJuan came in and kind of sparked us and kind of held it steady for a while, but this had to make the feeling of a real pressure game, and so it's good to get that one out of our system, because hopefully we're going to have a few more of these if we're able to play well.
Thanks, Bill.
Our next question is from Billy Witz from the New York Times.
Yeah, Bill, hi, this is Billy Witz from the New York Times.
Hey, Billy.
What sort of handicap do you think the COVID issues were today. I mean, whether it was, you know, David or the two guys you were missing, and also just kind of what it's been like, you know, through the last week or so.
Well, I think you know, the guys have handled it well, and the guys that contracted COVID, they've handled it well. Their maturity level's been, you know, really high. You know, it wasn't a woe is me, and we've told all our guys we need to play as hard as we can to make sure your teammates get a chance to experience the tournament. So, although it didn't really look like that the first half, but I think we've handled it pretty well. It's you know, we kind of got a motto that we say every year. You know, faces change, expectations do not. And you know, we didn't talk about what we didn't have. We just talked about what we had in order to play well, and what we had was enough. And I'm not sure that it is to go deep in the tournament. We need to have our full complement of guys, but certainly it hasn't been great, but it hasn't probably been as disruptive as what you may think it has, because those three guys, they were all in Lawrence, they weren't around us, all these things, and so it hasn't been a glaring distraction at all. And of course, David's attitude coming back was tremendous.
And I just follow up, I mean, I think you're one of 4 teams that are, you know, dealing with not having your full roster. And Josh Pastner yesterday just talked about just the anxiety that he's felt of every time a test comes in of, you know, what is, you know, it's going to be positive, negative, what's that going to mean? And as a coach, you know, I guess, have you and you imagine your colleagues that are in a similar position, has there, I don't know, been like a level of anxiety that is unusual?
Yeah. Oh, there's no question. And there has, and the anxiety occurred from, you know, October 15th till now. I mean, it's been high anxiety for everybody. I mean, you know, my trainer and my staff, as soon as we get our results back from the test, and you know, testing 3 times a week doing the PCR, it doesn't matter if it's 2 o'clock in the morning. As soon as we get the text message from the company giving us the results, we all have group text, you know, and you know, here I'm getting text from the doc and the trainer at 2 a.m. when the results come back, and I'm awake, ready to take the text. So it has been a high anxiety thing. You know, and I feel bad for obviously OU, and I don't know everybody's been affected, and obviously for Josh and Georgia Tech, because I mean, these kids work their butts off all year long, and then something outside of their control certainly puts them in a situation where they can't, you know, live out their dream. And so I feel for everybody. We had a situation where it's been negative for so many teams that had pauses. You know, I hate to say this. I don't think pauses are good. It may be blessings in disguise that the pauses occurred to better ensure you having a healthy NCAA tournament. So, but yeah, it's been a pretty stressful year. But it's one of those things. I don't think that you can dwell on it. It's just whatever happens, and you can't change it. So you just kind of got to ride with it.
Our next question is from Matt Tate from the Lawrence Journal-World.
Hey, Coach, one more on Dave. Did you notice any particular area of his game or what he could give you that he was most affected by today?
I thought he scored over his right shoulder. You know, they took away his left shoulder and they made him score over his right shoulder, and he did a great job with that. I didn't think he moved great defensively at all. I don't know how many rebounds he ended up with, but I don't think he rebounded the ball. Well, he ended up getting 9, 5 offensively, so that's pretty good. But I didn't feel like he looked as good moving. But I thought, considering all the time off, I thought he looked very patient offensively once we got into the second half.
Yeah, and you know, you told this team a while ago that you want to get them comfortable playing and winning games in the 60s, and then you come out and throw up 50 in the second half today, and you had to have it. I mean, is there any confidence that can come from something like that? I think showing you can win any style.
I think so. You know, I remember. I don't know if we played Carolina or somebody in the NCAA tournament. It was like 48-48 at halftime or something. And our guys were so confident at halftime because they knew that wasn't us. That's not how we play. And so we played their game and we still were tied. So now if we play our game, we'd be in good shape. I'm hoping we kind of feel this way now. I'm happy we scored some points, but that's not real. What's real is we got to defend and we got to rebound. And if we do those things, we can play with folks. But hopefully this will give some confidence offensively, but also be a reality check. We have to start grinding on the defensive end.
Yeah, and last one, can you just talk about Marcus today? He was good everywhere, shot the ball well. I mean, it's what you want from a senior, I'm sure.
Well, that's what I want from anybody. But yeah, Mark was really good today. He 20 and 8 and 3 assists and 1 turnover, and he played out of foul trouble. So I thought he was great. I thought he and Juan in the backcourt today was probably about as good a twosome as we've had all year long, handling the ball and passing it, and everybody else did fine too. Everybody else did well, but it was nice to see Marcus and Juan shoot the ball like that because we needed them to shoot the ball like that to win. But you know, sometimes this year we've been playing 3 against 5. So to speak, offensively, because people dare us to shoot, we don't shoot it, and it's a good shot when their shoulders are square, and it was good that they took those.
You might have heard him. He said he wasn't worried when he had the 3 fouls. Were you?
You know, of course he says that now that he didn't foul the rest of the game, but I didn't feel great about it. But I thought once we got to about the 13 or 14 minute mark of the second half, I felt better because I thought he could manage it the rest of the way in.
Thanks.
Our next question is from Maya Peterson from the University Daily Kansan.
Hey, Coach. Maya Peterson here with 2 quick questions. First, can you talk about the toughness of this team from January to now in just today's game?
Well, I didn't think we played tough, but I thought we were pretty mentally tough. If that makes sense. I didn't think we played tough. We don't beat them on the glass like I thought we could. Obviously, we didn't guard our man. They shoot 50%. So I don't think we didn't defend the arc great. So I don't think we played tough, but I thought our mental toughness was pretty good considering you get behind like that, and that's when panic could set in, and it didn't. So I thought that was a good sign of toughness.
All right, and then a follow-up question for you, Coach. It's been a year since you played your first March Madness game. Was it worth the wait?
Well, it's really been 2 years, because we played, I guess, 2 years ago, and no, it wasn't worth the wait. I don't want to have to do this again, certainly, and there's always a chance it could happen, but we've been so fortunate and blessed around here to be in a lot of tournaments in a row, and you should never take it for granted. It's a reward for your kids, so it couldn't happen soon enough, but I just hope like heck it never happens again.
Our next question is from Scott Chasen from Kansas247sports.com.
Hey, Bill, just curious, did you get a read on the symptoms David was dealing with, and were they severe at all?
Today during the game?
No, coming in just from this last week and a half.
Oh, no, I didn't think he, to my knowledge, he had very little, if any, symptoms.
Okay, and then what was the acclimation process like in terms of getting him back, figuring out how much he could play, what he could do for you guys? What was that process like yesterday?
There really wasn't a process. We hooked him up to a heart monitor. We evaluated him during our practice. He probably practiced 70% of the practice. He looked good. We took him out. We sat him, all these things. We had a pretty good gauge on his fatigue. And we really didn't plan on playing him this much today, Scott, but obviously it worked out this way.
Thank you.
Our next question is from Sam Mellinger from the Kansas City Star.
Hey, Bill.
Hey, Sam.
Congratulations. I wanted to ask you, kind of just follow up on 2 things that you just mentioned here. One is David goes over what you had in mind for his minutes going in. What was that? Was that just a response to how he was feeling?
Yes.
Looking on the court? Yeah.
Well, it was a response to what, Doc McGee said, Bill, I think he give you 10 and a half. But it's a little bit different in the NCAA tournament. I'm sure if you watch it on TV, you don't notice this. You could, if you got a timeout, 5 timeouts in the first half and 5 timeouts in the second half, it's hard to get tired. You are setting so long, and all the timeouts are a minimum of 3 minutes. Isn't that right, Chris? I mean, so, people talk about subbing around timeouts and think like that. I mean, if you can get to a timeout, you're going to be 100% by the time the timeout's over because there's so much rest. So I think Sam, if it was a regular season game, I don't think he could have played as many minutes. But he was the couple of times he got really fatigued. He's fine after sitting there 3 minutes. So that probably helped us out a little bit.
Yeah. Okay. That's interesting. You also mentioned the mentally tough, that there wasn't any panic, and that's how it looked, at least watching on TV. Why is that? What do you think was in this group or in this game that they avoided that?
I don't know. I think the staff was probably more panicked than the players were, but I actually, these guys, they play at Kansas and they play a lot of big games, and we've been behind a lot and we've been ahead a lot, and we know that it's a long game, and we know no lead is safe and no deficit is too big, until you get to at least a certain point in the game. And so, I mean, that's something we always dwell. When we practice, I love to practice when we don't make shots, so that way we can learn how to continue to grind and those sorts of things. So I think that's as much as anything is the fact that these guys are used to it. It's not anything that I don't think that we do specifically to make them confident in those situations. It's just been there, done it type attitude with most of these guys.
Thank you.
Our last question today will be from Benton Smith from the Lawrence Journal World.
Hey, Benton.
Benton, are you with us? Our last question will be from Gus Balo from the University Daily Kansan.
Hey, Coach. Gus Baylor from the University Daily Kansan. I know you touched on it a little bit earlier, but can you just talk about the performance of the Groves brothers today? And then I'll ask you one more question after this.
Yeah, I thought they were fabulous. I actually thought, watching the game, I thought that you guys that followed us know that if our big guy has to guard on the perimeter, it's hard for us. And they played Tanner on the perimeter far more than what we thought they would. He's made 17 threes on the season, and he makes 5 in one game. And if I'm not mistaken, 3 of them are in the first half pretty early. So that was a strategy by them, I'm sure, to try to play to that when we had 2 bigs in the game. And then, I thought he was great. But, I actually think his little brother, if you can call him that, to me, he's about as good looking a prospect around. I mean, he's 6'8" or 9 or whatever, and he can shoot and he can post and he got handles and vision. Those guys were very impressive to me. Really, both really good players. They've done a great job recruiting. I don't remember if they're local kids or not, but pretty impressive what they've done.
Yeah, and then you already touched on it earlier, but the play of Marcus today, and I asked him also about his shot. Were you confident that he could make the shots he did today? He had 20 points and was able to get it going from beyond the arc.
Marcus, he's not pure by any stretch, but he's become streaky. And if you're streaky, that means you're capable of making a few or several in a row. And he's done that. He's had games where he didn't, but he's had multiple games, I think, in our winning streak, if I'm not mistaken, where, he's made a minimum of 2 a game. So those were all big today, and you could tell that he was feeling it because they didn't guard him. They didn't guard he and Juan, and they dared him to shoot, and those guys made him pay today.
Thanks, Coach.
You bet.
Thank you, Coach. Best of luck in the next round.
Okay, thanks, guys.
That's it for this post-game news conference. A transcript of the coach's interview will be provided by ASAP Sports and posted along with a recording of this press conference in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at www.ncaa.veritone.com.